that we use to, it will normally come around this season, November, December, a red insect, and we'll associate it with Christmas. Who remembers that kind of, those kind? Do you see them these days? Those red insects, you know, and even there was another one called the halachan. You know, towards Christmas, when you're expecting your parents or your relatives from South Africa, you expect them to bring gifts and presents to you, and you will remember singing, you know, halachane, halachane, Kadoma, halachane. So, you know, WhatsApp kids, they don't understand what I'm talking about. I think I'm lost here. Why are you quiet? Can I have an amen in this?
It's a silky red.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So those were the kind of things that used to give us fascination when we're still very, very young. And those things are no longer what? Are no longer there. They are becoming scarce. They are becoming very, very, very scarce. So one of the things that we see about climate change really is that it leads to reduction in animal population. There is a lot of reduction in animal population. By the way, I like visiting one day myself. I was very excited to see a porcupine after a very long time. Porcupine, but during our days when we were growing up, there were a lot of hedgehogs, porcupines that we no longer see. Of course, some explanations could be related to the what we call chaotic land reform program, but mostly it's also related to climate change as well. And also, when we're doing a certain research in Cholocho, one of the things that the villagers told us is that the reason why, because also climate change has also intensified what you call human-wildlife conflict. Now, animals are moving away from their domain, coming closer to the homesteads in search of water or in search of food. So what it does is that we experience some fatalities as especially human beings clash with wild animals, like mainly elephants, you talk of buffaloes, you talk of hyenas and so on and so forth. And there is one interesting secret that I learned through my research with the same community in Cholocho. One of the things that they told me, they said, Dr. Phiri, do you know the reason why some people, especially who are not familiar with our customs, are killed by the elephants? They say it is because of, at a particular season times, they normally shoot the elephants, okay? And so when they shoot them, what they do is, you know, people want meat. They just go and eat everything. But those people told me that there are certain parts of the elephant that you should not eat. Number one, the trunk of an elephant, don't eat it. And number two, the legs of the elephant, don't eat it. What happens if you eat it? If you eat it, you will possess, you may not even smell it yourself, you possess a smell that will be detected by an elephant for the rest of your life. And that is why they will attack you. You may not feel the smell yourself, but they say if you eat that trunk of an elephant, or even the leg, you have a permanent stink to the elephants that make you prone to be attacked. And so if you don't appreciate the culture and tradition of those people, you will get attacked by them. Of course, there are some trunks that you cannot avoid in life. They are good for your health. But in terms of the trunk of the elephant, I didn't say anything, you made your own analysis. Okay. So the elephant trunk, you can avoid, but I know there are other trunks that you cannot avoid. Okay. Right, so there is the human-wildlife conflict. Recently we went to Chocholo, we also went to Cholocho. The women though were also complaining that there are now there are actually lions that are and jackals that are coming to decimate their small livestock, to decimate their cattle. And also, so as a result of that human-wildlife conflict, you see some communities becoming poor. Okay. their ability to survive economic pressures is also reduced. Because remember, owning cattle, owning livestock is a sign of wealth. There is one village actually who lost about 53 goats in a period of a month. As a result of what? Hyenas and jackals coming in. So what it does is that this climate change invariably causes poverty. It causes people to be desperate. Okay? There is one village, I would say, who actually deserted his wife and went to stay with what you call Mazakela, because Mazakela, apparently the husband in South Africa would send groceries. So, but there was no man. The men would just come in December and go in January. So all those months he will be unserviced. Okay. So this man will come to what? To service. Okay. You know what I mean. Okay. Yes, you know what I mean. Okay. So it also somehow it causes it creates family. There are some sort of conflicts that are, when there is a crisis, when there is hunger, when there is food shortage. Actually, what it does is that it can create conflict in the family. It can also create what we call marriage breakups as well. So there are a lot of these animals coming in, eating people's grains, destroying and killing people. Even in plant today, we've had quite a number of who were killed by buffaloes, and buffaloes were coming there just to look for water as well. So we see an intensification of human-wildlife conflict. And there was a newspaper article where a man who was attacked by a leopard, and then he eventually killed it. He was quickly arrested. There is a conflict that people of Zimbabwe, they will rather spare the life of an animal than the life of a human being. So there's that conflict. I don't know environmentally how we deal with that, where when an animal causes havoc, they take time to deal with it, but when a human being kills a leopard or an animal, they get into trouble. So we actually see that there is a challenge in terms of reduction in animal population. There is a reduction in animal population. But in some cases as well, there is an increase in animal population, where the animals leave their natural habitats to come to dwell among human beings, or to come to dwell among the communities as a way of, it's sort of like a survival strategy as well. And then I also want to talk, I didn't mention it here, I also want to talk about locusts, the invasion of locusts. The invasion of locusts. If you go to YouTube and see how there was a cyclone in 2018, 2019, and that cyclone actually, it created some water pools in the desert, which is unprecedented. And so those water pools became a breeding place for locusts. And those locusts, if you just go, those locusts, they say they can travel up to 150 kilometers in a day. And in Kenya alone, they decimated about 370,000 acres of crops. They covered the whole place. And they are also a danger right now in Zambia and Malawi as well. And they are also said to be heading to Zimbabwe. All this is a result of climate change. Because these cyclones, what they do, they come with wind and they actually drop them from the Middle East to Africa. So countries like Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, they face a lot of food insecurity challenges. And if you read some of their articles, you will notice that there are some people who are actually committing suicide. After having planted hectares and hectares of land, and then in a few hours they come and decimate. It's like a plague from Exodus. They come and eat everything. And there's something funny about locusts, The female is always carrying the male. I don't know whether it's a lesson for women transfer. but you know, so and right now SADC is trying to seek funding to deal with the what? With the plague. And Zimbabwe is also in danger of experiencing the same. How many of you guys watched the videos where in Uganda and in Kenya where locusts were? If you actually Google that, say locusts in Africa 2020, you will see an invasion of locusts. And that is also attributed to what? To climate change. And so your ability to survive, economies are affected, unemployment ensures as a result, poverty then begins to stop people in that kind of environment. So that is why they're also encouraging us as Zimbabweans to think about how we can minimize the scourge of locusts or grasshoppers or whatever you call them, because they can actually, you may have a good season, but when they come and land on your crops, the Fumbuza won't work. Okay, Fumbuza won't work. I think we'll have a good alibi as Zimbabweans to say these locusts were British sponsored because anarchy to peace loving. Okay. So we can actually see that economies can be brought down to their knees as a result of this. It's not. The problem is not their scarcity, but it's also their abundance. When they become too much, it can become a what? It can become a problem. Environmentally, it can become a problem in terms of our food security position as well. And also, we talked about increase in carbon dioxide concentration has led to increase in absorption of the gas by the water bodies. This has led to oceans becoming more acidic, killing sea life and ruining the global fishing industry, in which millions of people depend on for food and income. In Binga, actually, as we speak now, they are saying fish have greatly depleted. And in a few years' time,